rule number one of podcasting, make sure your camera is turned on, right? Make sure your camera is turned on. Always good advice, ladies and gentlemen, except you're a Keir Starmer. Turn your bloody camera off, mate. So, man, I was watching the Doctor Who intro, where they had all the different doctors and Matt Smith. I mean, that's all fantastic, right? Like, that's when Doctor Who was awesome. But, I was thinking, wouldn't it be great if, in times of turmoil, as we're in right now, we are, holy shit, is it bad news in England? It has crashed and burned faster than I could possibly imagine into like this totalitarianism, right? Like communist style, Chinese Communist Party style dictatorship. It is so fucking freaky, right? It's so insanely freaky. And actually, I think this might be good news, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, little can of duff there. Oh, if only we had some real duff, that would certainly do the trick. That would make like my life. Well, I need more than one can, but yes. That was certainly the trick. It's gone insane. Yeah, so I was watching the intro with all the Doctor Who's. I'm thinking, yeah, well, wouldn't it be great to be able to just sink into a nice episode of Doctor Who and forget your woes, right? Wouldn't that be great? No, can't do that anymore. We got to cast somebody completely wrong for the role and write shit. Oh, and she's back. She's gonna be talking tonight. Bit of Jodie, and then it's got to be the queerest, gayest shit ever. Right, not Doctor Who, right? Like, what's this? What's the difference? It's Doctor Who. It's just, it's more inclusive now. Well, now it's not Doctor Who anymore. Doctor Who wasn't concerned about sucking anybody's dick, as far as I recall, right? Maybe they were. What Doctor Who does in private, I don't really care, okay? I mean, actually, I do. I'm kind of obsessed with that. But what is that? Look, let's say John Pertwee wants to give Sergeant Benton a blowy. I don't mind. Do it in the broom closet. It doesn't bother me. Don't make it the focal part of fucking episode. But, man, I think with this slide into totalitarianism, which we are going to document in a second, is indicative of a few things. But, man, if it succeeds, and I don't think it's going to, but who knows? I mean, look, the entire world's on a knife edge right now, right? Dangling on a knife edge or balancing on a knife edge. I can never remember. Because it was, the first episode of Star Cops? Remember Star Cops, the Doctor Who replacement for 9 episodes in 87, which was actually pretty darn good, right? I like that a lot. I listened to some of the Big Finish ones. I kind of fell out of it. I haven't listened to the latest season. Was it Blood Moon or something? I can't remember what it's called, right? But, they predicted a lot of stuff very well. Like Boxy is... personal assistant is essentially an iPhone, right? Just much clunkier, right? And probably with less capabilities. When was Star Cops set? It's around now, isn't it? It was like 40 years in the future. Right, let's have a look. Hang on. It's worth thinking about. When was Star Cops set? 2027. Bloody hell. I mean, like, they got a lot of stuff right. Like the being able to access news in the middle of a meal, right? They wheel in a giant TV. Please, can I have a channel 43 of it? They wheeled in this giant TV. What Chris Boucher wrote. I hope you know what I'm talking about, right? Because if you don't know, I'll be just babbling. Probably that. Anyway, what Chris Boucher wrote in the script was it had like these Chinese style screens. Around the table, right? And you could touch this, and they would tap the screen, and it would turn into a TV. But really, Box would have just played it. But anyway, I digress. What about Star Cops? 80s Doctor Who replacement, slip into totalitarianism. I can't remember. I can't remember the path we got there, ladies and gentlemen. Never mind, it was only a few minutes ago. Anyway, as I was saying, slip into a nice episode of Doctor. Right, I was talking about I wasn't talking about. I was thinking about one of the reasons that Doctor Who is so freaking awesome. I think why I love it so much is because it's so English, right? It's so English in that it's a bag of contradictions, an unassuming bag of contradictions. Like, if Doctor Who was an American show, he would have to be the bestest ever, right? Everyone in Star Trek was like top of the class at Starfleet Academy, right? Everybody was the bestest ever, right? Doctor Who like failed and then left anyway because he couldn't be asked, right? I like that a lot. I think that says a lot about confidence. I think it says a lot about Britishness. And I think that Britishness will be lost if this totalitarianism really comes into play. If it really rests. I don't think it's going to, though, right? I don't think it's going. Well, I'm like naturally an optimistic soul. But no, I don't think it's. Oh, one second, I'm supposed to invite somebody. I just don't think it's going to land, right? I think it's not possible in the age of social media. Let me just send this. Doink. That's that done. I think in the age of social media, it's just not possible, right? It's which is good about man. Are they trying, right? Are they trying? So anyway, let me get you all up to speed. Even nobody's got any idea what I'm talking about. Where am I up to? So I don't even know where to start. I think this is a good place to start. Share screen. I wish I knew who did this because it's brilliant. I mean, it's AI, but it is totally brilliant. He was only 40 years out, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, he was, right? I mean, that seems to be exactly where we are. So we had Keir Starmer's been in power for what? 1 month and 4 days? And he's already started a race war. Now, why is there this insanely heavy-handed approach going on, right? You saw riot police go in and seemingly agitate a peaceful protest outside Downing Street. And, we have these new draconian laws that are coming in. I think because he's shitting himself. I think Keir Starmer is absolutely shitting himself. That's why he just can't cope. He can't cope and he can't deal. And, the socialists, which is where you are if you're vaguely left-wing now, if you're the socialists, they can't deal with this stuff. They clamp it down and they lie, or they just where was that thing? Did I download that one? How they just lie, or they oh man, I hope I downloaded that thing because it was really, really good. Hang on. Oh, I'm in the wrong folder. It really demonstrated where we are. Is this it? I guess I can find it, right? Yeah, no. Oh, damn. That's so annoying, right? It's on, I think I find it in my YouTube history, right? Because I think that's a very good place to start. So, yeah, there's this weird denial of a two-tier policing approach when literally everybody can see it. So what they have to do now is clamp down anybody questioning the narrative, because the narrative is so obviously wrong, right? The narrative is, here it is. The narrative is so obviously insanely flawed. Is this it? Hang on 1 second. Doink. Yeah, will it download? Is my downloady thingy working? Come on. No, links are fine. Here, 1 second. We'll go over here. We go to YouTube. YouTube downloader. YouTube video download. Doink. We'll try save from that. Oh man, that does take some time. Let's see if it works. And we've got plenty of other stuff to look at. So yeah. Anyway, So Keir Starmer is shitting himself in a way I've never. Well, yeah, I've seen people shit themselves in that way before. But it's going to give me a 360 one. Blimey, that's pretty low quality. Oh, here it comes. Fine, save video as. Doink. Fine, there we are. And I had everything lined up for this show. That's one of the main things that I wanted to start. I can't believe I didn't have that. So yeah. The police seem to be dealing with protests essentially born from a frustration with uncontrolled immigration, right? Now, uncontrolled immigration, which is what we have. I mean, I think we don't have it in Israel. You have it in America. You have it in England with the small boats, and also like massive immigration, right? So like legal immigration. So I think in the last 10 years, basically since Tony Blair, the 10 years or 15 years, since the Blair government, the population of England has grown by 10 million. Right? That's quite a lot, right? That's quite a lot, but yeah, it means that normal population growth. Well, apparently, and again, I haven't confirmed these statistics, and I believe they're correct because I heard Nigel Farage saying it on GBTV, and he's going to be raked over the coals for whatever he says. He says like 85% of that is from immigration, legal immigration. And I think that's the name of the game, right? I think that's really what's going on with all these like crazy leftists, because just in the same way the Nazis were national socialists, I think the socialists now are called global socialists rather than and they take a pride in a global state rather than a national state, and they're equally socialist and they equally want to remove all your rights, and they're equally totalitarian, right? And if you look at it in that prism, it all starts to make complete sense, because I think Tony Blair didn't like Britishness. I think the left wing, generally speaking, don't like Britishness. They're embarrassed of it. They're ashamed of it. Right, I think there's a real genuine hatred of it, and I think that probably has been bred into our, leadership and media classes via higher education, and essentially mostly through the Chinese influence in higher education, which is massive and about 20, 30 years old. And you got to really admire people who can do a 20-year plan, right, and really stick to it. And they did. It's really absolutely incredible. So, yeah, I think this is all born from a genuine hatred of Britishness and British values, and they wanted to dilute that. That's why you have this massive immigration, legal immigration, and illegal immigration. And it's taken 10 years, people have started to notice. People have started to notice there's large swathes of the British population who don't have British values, right? Or hate British values, right? I think that was behind. I think everybody essentially assumed the Taylor Swift dance class murders, right, were born out of that, and I don't think that hasn't been dispelled as yet, right? Because of the mismanagement of the policing, which is so they're following police policy. But the police policy is completely bankrupt. And I think the British public are like saying, bullshit, right? Just bullshit to all of it. We see how you treat the Palestinian marches. We see how you treat Muslim gangs. And we know how you treat Muslims that way, because there's a lot of them and they scream and they're violent and you're scared, essentially. There's partly that. Partly for the last 20 years, they've had radical Islamist, not educators, advisors to every peer of society. And again, look, I think that speaks to the greatness of Britain and British culture, in that they are a welcoming people. Like, the British are a very welcoming people, and they want to make the new arrivals feel at home, right? They want to make them feel comfortable, right? And I just think these new arrivals are from a culture that will abuse the weak, right? That will see weakness and they will take advantage of it, because that's culturally where we're coming. And it's not to do with religion; it's to do with culture, right? I mean, look, I have plenty of Muslim friends. I live in Israel. It's incredible. They call Israel an apartheid state. It's nonsense, right? We don't live apart, essentially. I mean, you have the Palestinians in Gaza and the West Bank, but mostly they just want to make a living and be left alone, like every other normal person in the world, right? Mostly. But we do understand this culture very well, right? And the culture is, it's meritorious to outsmart someone. That makes you into a good. Again, it's understanding what this different culture is like, which you've brought into your country, and you haven't integrated it. And I think that was done purposely. And I think just enough's enough. You had a bunch of incidents in a row after a year of most British people are crushingly embarrassed of the pro Hamas marches. They go, oh no, it's not. Yes, it is pro Hamas. You blithering imbeciles, right? If you're so stupid not to believe it, then but most people on these marches are completely and totally ignorant. Anyway, so a two-tier policing system has evolved very, very obviously. Yet we get this relentless, insane denial. So I want to go inside for a second and show you what two-tier policing actually looks like, what it actually feels like. I'm not going to say the whole thing because it's very long, but it's man, this broke my heart, right? It was one of the saddest stories I've ever heard. Where is this?
Talk to Isabel Oakeshott, who's visited.
Okay, where is it? So this is a woman who, listen to her story. She was arrested and she's mortified. Look at this.
They're all going to see where I live.
Yeah, where is it?
To police and offer them some ice lollies. It's an extraordinary tale. Was arrested over that disorder.
Yeah, this is arrested.
In social services. So that was the trigger for that particular riot. As we know, many of the other riots more recently have been by very different communities.
Oh, yeah. So this was a riot a couple of weeks ago where I think I'm not sure what the politically correct term is, Romani, Gypsy, I don't know. Again, I'm not trying to be offensive. This is just pure ignorance, right? It's not a hate-bred ignorance. It's just an ignorance-bred ignorance, right? And by the way, I got nothing against the whatever that people is called. They were sent to the concentration camps right along with us Jews, right? And we have a tradition in Judaism that that's where that's what happened to the Egyptians after the story of the Exodus, right? They ended up as the Romani folk, if that's the right word, right? What was that? What they called it in Snatch? Great Guy Ritchie movie. It's probably completely politically incorrect. Is it Pikers? I can't remember what it is. Right, I really can't remember what it is. Anyway, I digress. Fine. So and so they were taking a couple of those kids into care, and the riot started, and the police were there. And the story continues from here, right? And it's horrendous. It's horrific.
These are people or those who have come in from outside of an area with a deliberate view to kicking off. But that wasn't the case in this early riot of Leeds. Yeah. It's very much a local neighbourhood thing. And the reason I went up there was to talk, first of all, to see what kind of a place it was, but secondly, to talk to one of the very few people who was arrested over that disorder, a lady called Nikki Wilcox, who is a 59-year-old mother of one with a daughter at the local university, a very respectable lady who, for all sorts of very strange reasons, found herself being the one that was arrested, having gone out to talk to police and offer them some ice lollies. It's an extraordinary tale, and next on our own.
With Nikki Wilcox.
All these men started to pull their hoods up and come towards me. They kept saying, go home, and I thought, I can't go home because they're all going to see where I live. So I couldn't say that out loud. I just kept saying, I'm not going home. I'm going home now. I live there. They're going to watch me go into all these people. And I kept saying, why are they here? Why are they here? Why are you allowing them to be here? Why? Because, like I said, they haven't come for a picnic. So why are they here? I wouldn't say they were angry people. It was just it was when they saw me, all hoods seemed to come up. I thought, what's going to go on here? Why are these...
All right, so she was generally scared, right?
People...
Was forward a bit to see... Oh, yeah.
We're going to have to arrest you. And you can hear me say, well, you're going to have to arrest me then. So they're starting to grab hold of my arms. And I said, you don't need...
Okay, this is where it gets out of line, right? This is where it gets... Why is there a procession of police officers following her with they're grabbing both her arms? She's a 59-year-old woman. You know why? It's because she's white, right? If she was brown, they would have instructions not to do that, to not inflame tensions with that community, right? This is the essence of two-tier policing.
To manhandle me, but I'm armed with 2 ice lollies. I'm not a threat to you.
Some sort of vague dark humour is a...
Oh, is this it? Oh, they didn't. I don't have the rest of this story. I must have picked up the wrong one.
Wants to call them. I sense now, we've sort of got to the stage where people are...
How? Let me see if I can find the full version of it, because it is like when she tells you of her treatment, it's like, and you can see this is genuinely a good, nice woman, right? Like again, she went out to give these people the police isolers because they were standing out in the heat, and she felt bad for them, right? Like a normal, decent human being would do. So they arrest her. And they treat her terribly. They keep her in a cell overnight. She's never been in a police station before. She's terrified, right? They take her clothes from her, right? Like for nothing, literally. And that's the point. It's the intimidation, and there's so much intimidation going on. Like this, I found perhaps the most intimidating. Where is it? Yeah, look at this.
Incitement to racial hatred involves publishing or distributing material which is insulting or abusive, which is intended to or likely to start racial hatred. So if you retweet that, then you're republishing that, and then potentially you're committing that offence. And we do have dedicated police...
They're saying, shut the fuck up, stop sharing this, stop talking about this, watch the BBC, that's what we're telling you is truth, and if you go against it, even if it's not true, then I don't care, you're going to fucking jail. That is very clear. On the very least, you're going to be in court, and it's going to suck all your money when you're going to be homeless. That is entirely what he's saying.
Officers who are scouring social media, their job is to look for...
Haven't been able to arrest any of the rape gangs as yet, have they? No, but they can scour social... Why? Because it's safe. Because they know they're not going to face a sea of people attacking them.
This material. And then follow up with identification arrest.
Well, what's the material? You better be pretty crystal fucking clear about this.
And so forth. So it's a really, really serious... People might think they're not doing anything harmful. They are.
Okay, you might not think you're doing anything harmful, but you are.
And the consequences will be visited upon them.
Right, exactly. Those consequences that we haven't seen visited on anybody with relentless social disorder over the last, years? At least a year, right? And this bizarre wall of saying there is no two-tier policing, there is no two-tier policing, and again, this really bizarre thing of saying that we're going to lock you up. We're going to lock you up if you resist or if you complain in any way. We're going to call you racist and we're going to lock you up, and there's nothing you can do about it. Right? That is the most horrifying thing I've ever seen. Right? In England, coming out of England. Right? And I just don't think it's going to fly. Right? I don't think it's going to fly. Nigel Farage, who's being roundly blamed, Nigel Farage, and this all thing set up to arrest Tommy Robinson and throw him in jail. He had two successful march, right? A peaceful march, and they're going to throw him in jail saying you're far right. You know what this is like? It's like just before World War II, when Germany and Austria were going to reunify. So you had the fascists and the communists. They both hated each other, and they're both basically the same, right? They both killed about the same amount of people. I think communists probably killed more, right? But they both hated each other. So before the vote to reunify, they put all the, I think there's all the story, they wrote all these messages all over the roads, all across Austria, right? And so they came and said, look, the evil communists have done that. You know what we're going to do? We're going to make the evil communists clean it. You know what evil communists, who they decided who were the evil communists? It was the Jews, right? The normal Jews forced out their homes to clean the street because once you label someone deplorable, you can do whatever you like to them, right? And that's exactly what's happened. That's what's happened to Tommy Robinson. That's what's happened to anybody who dares share things like this. Here, 1 second. Where's okay? So the last night there was, and again, this was clearly not true. The misinformation was there's going to be 100 protests. No, there are 100 riots all across England. This was clearly a setup, right? This was clearly a setup, and it's a setup for several reasons. It's a setup to make this headline, right? And Daily Mail, what the fuck's wrong with you? Night anti-hate marchers face down the thugs. There were no thugs there because it didn't happen. But I'll ask you this. Who paid for all these placards, right? Who paid for them, right? I see they managed to either AI or Photoshop out all the Palestinian flags, right? Because let me tell you, if you're in one of these peaceful marches with a Palestinian flag and you're a Jew, you're going to get your shit kicked out of you, right? And yeah, this is what we've seen. Mostly peaceful process. Diversity is their strength. Far-right terror. Exactly. This is the two-tier policing that we've been talking about, right? This is absolutely the two-tier policing we've been talking about, and it's horrendous, right? It is absolutely horrendous. And again, if you complain about it, you're the worst. You're the evil person. Yeah. One second. We have some news reports of this to go over. Share screen. I don't know. They might try to, extradite me for sharing this with you, right? And they genuinely might. It's that crazy. So thank God we live in a time where we have, independent journalism. So Andy Know, who I like quite a lot, yesterday, thousands of left-wing Antifa and Muslim protesters gathered in multiple cities in response to the viral hoax that the far right planned 100 attacks and riots on immigration-related offices. Yeah, they told a bunch of immigration lawyers they need to run and close up and lose business so they can have this bullshit story, right? There's been no discussion on the disinformation that led to the violence and arrests. Instead, the coverage from BBC News, oh man, Pravda, right? Oh, and are they excited to be the Communist Chinese Party mouthpiece, right, of the Labour? How quickly did this happen, right? Complete totalitarianism in under a month. Man. Reports claims of peace and unity and the police congratulating themselves. The BBC uncritically repeat the line from the Met Police that the Croydon violence last night wasn't linked to protesting. Bullshit. All right, here, well, let's see if we can. I think I have some footage of that. I'm pretty sure I do. Yeah, it's over here. Yeah, really, right? I mean, honestly, we know you're full of shit. Okay, you're just trying to scare people into keeping quiet, right? You are just trying to scare people into, into shutting up. Oh, and again, Keir Starmer, this is just terror, right? I'm from his, but it's absolute terror. I just closed the wrong screen. Here we go. Doink. Let's keep this going. Even Antifa activists like Nick Lowes of Hope Not Hate admits that they're manipulating press to get mass propaganda in support of the police messaging of Antifa and the communist and socialist groups that mobilize, right? Successful night, Met Police chased a mostly peaceful rallies across England. Mostly peaceful, right? No, they weren't, right? No, they weren't. They were, quite horrendous in in many ways. So there was this guy over here. Where is it? Doink. Yeah, this guy over there. Walsall. Again, I know people who live in Walsall. A leftist protester said he was with the TSSA union. Said that it's disgusting, Nazi fascists. Again, once you label someone, doesn't matter who or what they are that thing, right? Nazi fascists mean to cut all their throats and get rid of them all. I know that's what you want, right? We all know that's what you want. Reporter Harry Lau, 49, says the people gathered were preaching a message of peace. Really? Really, Harry? 1,000 mobilized in English cities over the hoax that far right planned 100 riots. So let's have a look at this. Mostly peaceful. Right, where is it? This one over here.
We've got children and women using those trains, destroying the summer relatives. They are disgusting, Nazi fascists, and we need to cut all their throats and get rid of them all.
Look, turns out that guy is a Labour MP. Well, he's signed with Labour. Hang on. I think Andy just posted about it. Let's have a look, see what his timeline says. This guy, again, I don't know. I mean, man, look how quickly this went down. So, look, he's probably a racist. I don't know. There's no way of I don't know who to believe. Right? I don't want to believe the police. I don't want to believe. I don't believe it. I don't know who's. A man who was gesticulating and shouting at the police at the protest I mean, look, they did burn down a migrant hotel, which is like, that's just off the rails. That's crazy, right? The mass murderer in Hartlepool, England, has been sentenced to 2 years in prison, right, after he pled guilty. And again, this is to silence you and intimidate you. Is this the guy? Now, some earlier. Apparently, he's been arrested though. Again, look, this guy's wandering around with weapons, right? Literally with weapons. The man in the video, Shiraz Sawar, claimed claimed in court he didn't have a weapon and was instead holding a religious staff at a Muslim patrol emergency mobilization. We don't believe you. Again, but he knows how stupid the British deep state, I think, for want of a better word, is, and they would just go, yeah, okay then, right? Yeah, absolutely, they're fine. Yeah, so this is the same guy. So was he Labour councillor for Princes? Yeah, and again, it's only the far right. All Keir Starmer can say, far right, far right, far right, far right, right? He can't say anything else, right? Because and when you try, he just he shuts down. It's the weirdest thing. I mean, genuinely the weirdest thing. But I think, look, I think that's why they're not reconvening Parliament, where they really should do, so he doesn't have to face any questions. See what Nigel Farage just said.
Dangerous times, it seems, right now, and I want to start by saying that you have been the subject of an awful lot of accusations over the course of the last sort of several days, and I suppose since a week ago Monday. I mean, you've been accused of starting riots. You've been accused of encouraging riots. I mean, and your own safety is at stake in this as well, right?
Some of what's been said is absolutely disgusting.
Yeah,
it's cowardly.
Yeah.
It is unjust. Do you know, I've been fighting elections for 30 years because I believe in the democratic process.
Right.
And again, and they say it, and every idiot believes it. Like, it's amazing. They just, oh, okay then. Oh, okay, no problem. Must be the way, right? It's just bizarre of it. We are in the most bizarre, what's it? Yeah, the most bizarre alternate universe you could possibly imagine.
I've never, in any point in those 30 years, been involved in violence, been involved in street protest, been involved in encouraging any of these things. What I did sense after those horrific murders was we weren't being told anything.
Yes.
We had a lot of...
And that was the problem, right? 100%, that was the problem. We've been bullshitted to for too long.
You did. He'd arrived on a boat across the channel last October. He was a Muslim activist, etc.
Known to the MI5 and all that.
Yeah, and I said, can you tell us, was this man on a watch list, yes or no? Remember the London Bridge attacks?
Yes.
Within an hour of the attack, we knew the man had been on a watch list. Right? One of the reasons the Southport riots were as bad as they were, one of the reasons the mosque itself was targeted, is because the authorities didn't tell us quickly enough.
And it's the same thing with the Trump assassination. We still don't know what went down.
What the truth was.
Right.
Now, we then learned...
And again, that's just a real giveaway, right? That is just a real giveaway. A
few hours later, he was born in Cardiff, and actually he wasn't a radical Islamist at all. But my question as to whether he was on a watch list still hasn't been answered.
I think it's a quite relevant question, isn't it? Right? I think it's a generally quite relevant question. What's this? I got the wrong thing up. Hang on. Is that Keir Starmer saying that there's no two-tier policing? Hang on. Let me see, because there's so many videos saying there is no two-tier policing here. Keir Starmer, no to T. How do you spell tier? T-I-R? Or is that T? No, T-I-E-R. It's so bloody good. No two-tier policing. Now, Keir Starmer. Let's see if I do a start. So Keir Starmer. We should get plenty come up with that. No. Apparently not. Keir Starmer interview this was only 17 seconds. I think it cuts out the moment where he says, "There's no." Again, when everybody's asked, his face goes blank. Right, so the first thing we have to do is make people feel safe. Literally, Jews have not been able to walk through London for like nearly a year. Right? It's outrageous. It's beyond outrageous. We live. You know what? However, I'd say some people are taking it better than others. There are these people who where is this? Who actually have dealt with the news that they're racist pretty darn well. Check this out.
Yeah, Steve, mate, you're all right. Oh, listen, have you heard? Have I what? We're racist, mate. Racist? Yeah, mate, yeah, we're racists. Fucking hell. I had no idea. Since when? Since we went to that protest, mate. Yep, I know I can't get my head round it either, but we are racist. It's a bit of a shock, I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna lie, but, you know, it's what it is. Hold on, ain't your wife from Pakistan? Yeah, mate, yeah, she's gonna go mental when she finds out. I mean, I don't know how I'm gonna break it to her, to be honest with you. I only just found out myself. But we was meant to be having the in-laws over, you know, for a bit of curry on Sunday, and guess I'm gonna have to cancel that. Oh, I love curry! Hey, you can forget about that now, we're racist. About a little bit of Bombay mix. You're racist, you dickhead! Oh, yeah, fuck. Look, we're going to have to get used to it. And listen, if you want to get technical, the actual term, right, if anyone asks you, is far right. We are far right, all right? What the fuck? How's this happening? Have I caught this? Is far right contagious? Is that what it is? Have I caught far rightness? Have you given it to me, mate? Have I? Because, fuck, I'll tell you something now. Calm down, listen. The meaning of far right's changed. It's like the net's widened and we've kind of slipped in it. You know what I mean? It's been all over TV. Keir Starmer's been going on about it. You missed it, mate. It used to be believing that your race was superior to others. Do you know what I mean? It was like a radical and extreme view on minorities, like Hitler and the Nazis and all that. Mate, I thought it was a specific view that ethnic, racial or religious groups should stay separate based on the belief that the interests of one's own group should be prioritised.
Yeah, if the BBC in any way represented the British public, this guy would have a show. Who they put on everything? Rajesh Rinj, whatever that. They have a really mediocre, I think, is a Muslim comedian, Rajesh Rinj. I don't know who he is, right? And he's in freaking everything, like literally everything, right? Oh, God, that's the BBC for you.
Yeah, I thought the same, mate, but that's old school right-wing racism. Now, being right-wing is just being concerned of the strain mass immigration is having on the country. That's it. That's what makes us right-wing racists. Of course not, Steve. There's a couple of other factors that go into it that unfortunately factor us in. You've got to be white, you've got to be working class, and you've got to complain about this stuff publicly. You know.
Yeah, again, it all goes back to a deep, dripping and abiding hatred of England, which by, the morons in charge.
Like attending a protest. And we ticked all them boxes, brother. We are racist. You better get used to it. Oh, bollocks. My business partner's Jamaican. We've had that business 13 years, mate. He's going to go fucking mental when he finds out. Well, Steve, mate, this is the problem. It's never the ones you think it's going to be. I didn't think it was going to be you, mate. No, I've known you, fucking nearly 30 years, mate. And I've known me my whole life. Mate, I'm shocked.
But the good news is there is a poll that just came out that a third of the country agree with the reasons that people, but they didn't agree with the violence, and nobody agrees with burning down a fucking hotel with people full in there, right? That's bad. Nobody wants to see that happening, right? It's they agree with the reason behind it, which is this destruction of British culture, right? It's not like in the 90s, right, or the 80s, when you had different groups come to England and become English, right? Look, here's the thing. English people, generally speaking, right, the English people, I love having a curry, right? They'll go for it. Again, it became part of British culture. But once again, English people don't do this.
Allahu Akbar! Takbir! Allahu Akbar! Takbir!
But this has just been a wet dream for the left wing, right? An absolute wet dream, because they live in this bizarre world where they're under a threat by evil racists everywhere. Now, finally, there's been, an act of racism. They go, yes, now we can clamp down, right? But here, this song really explains what's going on.
Have to insist on our borders. There is something racist about that.
Right, so you believe that people who, like Tim Montgomery, say there should be managed or strong national borders are implicitly racist?
I think there is...
I mean, the first thing that really needs to happen is ban covering your face.
Intolerance is a preference of the far left, which portray everyone else as far right. Corbyn's poo tastes adorable, and if you dispute that, you are known as far right. John's been sniffing glue. He gets frustrated that there aren't enough immigrants. They love a bit of it. Far right. Who's that gut lord marching? You should cut down on your pork life, mate. Get some exercise. All the people, all the white people, and they all get slandered and branded as being on the far right. Know what I mean? I get up when I want, except when there's a call to prayer at the local mosque. Far right. I put my trousers on, I go on Facebook and I complain about the noise. Far right. I feed the trolls, I sometimes feed the feminists too. It gives me a sense of enormous well-being. Far right. And then I'm happy for the rest of the day.
Yeah, this happened. This was from about 6 years ago, I think. By the way, things have not got better.
Safe in the knowledge that a social justice warrior has been triggered. All the people.
It's kind of really. There's another clip which I thought I bookmarked, but I didn't. I'll try and get that for you on Saturday, which is the guy who normally does the police, PC Pisspot. He did another one with a different character. That was very funny. Meanwhile, in America, it's equally bad, right? It's equally bad. You got Kamala Harris running with literally no policies whatsoever, right? Refuses to take any questions, won't debate, and is just awful. Got literally, go to a website. You can find a policy, good for you. And now she chose a running mate, this extreme radical liberal, not going so well for him. Apparently, he went around saying that he was in combat when he was in the army. And that's why he believes in strict gun laws, right? Because he said, I had those weapons when I was in combat, or something intimating that. And then it turned out, no, he wasn't, right? So he's getting raked over the coals. I just think they're just massively incompetent. Anyway, so this came out about him today, which is, and it actually did a bit of, there was something good on Fox News. Go figure.
More about Tim Walz's Chinese connections. Last night, we told you he's visited China 30 times over the last few decades. He went to China for the first time in '89 through a government program sponsored by Harvard. And when he came back, he spread Chinese propaganda. Quote, I was treated exceptionally well.
All right, if you go forward, Jesse Waters. I did Waters. Is it Waters or what? I know. I think it's Waters, right? He. I didn't realize this guy. I constantly watch Mad Men, right? I kind of watch it on a loop. I love Mad Men. It's just one of the greatest character studies or multiple characters I've ever seen. It's really fantastic. There's a character in it called Bob Benson, comes in the 6th season. He really reminds me of him.
They are such kind, generous, capable people, and they just gave and gave and gave to me. Going there was one of the best things I've ever done. Waltz loved his time in China so much he got married on the anniversary of the Tiananmen Square massacre because he always wanted to remember the day.
Okay, go to China being dined with them is one thing. Getting married on the anniversary of Tiananmen Square on purpose, and if you're my age, you remember that really well, is not a good look.
For his honeymoon, he went back to China, and he took his high school students with him, which would usually cramp your style on a honeymoon, but to each his own. He started a travel company that would send him to China with a bunch of American students every year, and his trips were funded by the Chinese government.
Yeah, this guy is very connected to the Chinese.
Local Chinese kids knew Walls. They called him the big-nosed one and foreign devil. But Walls swears those weren't insults. He loves it when little Chinese boys make fun of him. He spends so much time in
Well, he probably pays him to do that, let's be fair.
China, he learned the language. Listen.
Nieman Hama, Governor Tim Walz here. Happy Chinese New Year. This spring...
Okay, that's not learning the language. That's being able to do a political thing saying hello, okay? That's not learning the language.
Celebrate. Hey, Fatsoi.
Walz still has deep connections to the Chinese. In 2019, he delivered a keynote address to the Chinese Friendship Organization, a group with deep ties to Chinese intel. Did the Harris campaign know about this? How can a guy visit China 30 times and pal around with Chi-Coms and have Chinese money change hands, and you say to yourself, I want that guy in the Situation Room with me?
See, I don't think they're trying to win the election. I think they're trying to make plausible deniability that they cheated to win the election, right? That's really what I think is going on, because I think there's a shadow campaign. There's like, I don't know, tens, maybe hundreds of thousands of mysteriously registered people in swing states that seem to be illegal aliens. And it seems like very, very strange. It came out in the HAV website, Help America Vote, HAVC, I think. They had like a lot of very, very weird, a lot of very weird registrations for voting.
This is the second time in a row Democrats have tried to install a guy with China ties inside the White House. And the media isn't digging into this because, just like with the China virus, they're afraid of being called racist.
No, the media's not digging into it because they're incredibly corrupt. See, you're doing well there, Jesse. You're doing well, and then you just lost it at the end, mate. Right? You just lost it at the end. Not your best hour. Not going on so well. Is there anything else we need to go before we move on? Oh yeah, well, one last thing again, which I think is something that's very encouraging. By the way, still no global war coming out of this region. Is it going to happen? I don't know. Right, I don't know. I mean, honestly, I was really quite happy that the that the last war upended their plans to for my son's my older son's wedding, and we had to whole different way, which for me it was much better. Right, I really liked it. But this one's like going to be a normal wedding. I'm like, oh man, I'm really not into weddings at all. I do think. I don't know, but yeah, is it coming forward now? How many days is it away? 19 days, right? 19 days until D-Day, right? Although good news is my son apparently doesn't have to go back to the army until after his wedding, right? Unless there's an invasion. Here's the thing that's freaking me out: they're moving all the enlisted people up north, right, to deal with Hezbollah and Allah, and they're moving all the tanks up north. I'm like, are they expecting a ground invasion, or are they planning to a ground invasion? I do not know, right? I do not know. My name's Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.